Good morning, everybody. We are almost at the full moon in Sagittarius that is taking place in Europe, Central European summertime at 5:43 in the morning, early in the morning, and it will be in the sign of the Archer, Sagittarius. So we opened the month with a lot of fixed signs. We have Mars in Leo, we have Pluto in Aquarius that will go back into Capricorn on the 11th of June. We have Mercury in Taurus that will slide into Gemini on the 11th of June too. And so we have also Uranus in Taurus, we have Jupiter in Taurus. So we have a lot of fixed signs. And fixed signs means that we are sort of closed and stuck sometimes on predetermined binaries we have to travel into also mindsets that are limiting our life. So the full moon in Sagittarius, as we are also in the axis of travel, of how our mind works, because the next new moon will be on the 18th of June, it will be in Gemini. So here we have the axis Sagittarius, Gemini. How our mind works. What our mind considers to be true. What our mind believes. So now it's really time to move beyond our ancient, old, obsolete beliefs, expanding beyond these self-limited beliefs, because we don't have to believe in a certain narrative. They taught us we have to, but we can reject this legacy, part of it at least. We can really say, listen, okay, this is something that a lot of people say, but this doesn't apply to me. We have the power to do that, to say, this doesn't apply to me. And it's very important, I think, to harness the energy of this full moon in Sagittarius and in Gemini. It's also about language, about how we speak about the power of the words, to really pay deep attention to how we speak. Because words are magic, pure magic. So we can really catch ourselves in the moment where we are saying something that sounds very absolute. Something like, I always do like that. I'm not able to do this. This creates sort of a knot that it's difficult to loosen up. And it creates a lot of energy also that impacts on our future, on what we are creating for our future. So in that moment where we really catch ourselves saying something like, I don't know, I'm not able to do this because every time I try, this thing happens. Or when we say, you know, when one bad thing happens, they come all together every time. Many others follow that. This kind of stuff that we very often say. We can stop, freeze the moment, and just say, okay, let me step back and let me look at what I'm doing here. This is the energy I'm radiating outside. So for the law of mirrors, what can I expect to come back from these assumptions that I'm sending out there? It's time to connect to a higher mental state. Also, the Sabian symbol that is connected to this full moon is the Sphinx and the Great Pyramid. So it talks about a secret tradition that we can tap into, ancient memories that can be buried in our minds, that can allow us to reconnect to certain archetypes and to tune into a higher state of our mind, where our mind is not that unsupportive energy and disruptive energy, but is a supportive companion. Is the mind that can draw a different scenario for our future. And if we educate our mind to do that, she will be happy to do it. Maybe it will not happen overnight, because if we have been speaking in a certain way, thinking in a certain way, for all of our life, it will take some time. But we can begin to cultivate it and to step back when we see that we are saying something that is disempowering us, or that is sending to the universe out there the message that we can't change, that we are stuck in a certain pattern. I always say to people, to myself, very often when I fall on this, because I'm not enlightened, of course, far from that. And yeah, and to clients too, I say, okay, instead of saying I never do that, or how I was never able to, end your sentence with so far, until now. That gives the opportunity that from now on, it can be different. So that's very important, because if we are really able to really tap into our enthusiasm and the excitement for a new narrative that we are creating from now on, that's the best way that we can live this full moon. Because Sagittarius is a sign that is super enthusiastic, that is super confident and trusting, and also it has a lot of faith. So let's permeate our words with this faith, with this confidence. It's not the time to be lazy or to just say, okay, you know, the universe will provide. I don't do anything, because if it happens, it means it's meant to be. If it doesn't happen, maybe it wasn't meant to be. Sometimes this can be really laziness or delegating responsibility to the universe. So Moon in Sagittarius is inviting to action, to act, to be aware of how we speak, of how we act, also to the state that we are in. Because of course, if you are in a state of enthusiasm, optimism, and believing in ourselves, what is sent to us will be much different from the other situation in which we are complaining, or we are focusing only on the old narrative, on our beliefs, on our limits. So take all this joy that you feel, try to see where there is the excitement, where there is the joy, where there is this sense of, oh, I want to explore, I want to live an adventure. In which areas of your life, with what people do you feel that? And try to create this bubble. Happy full moon in Sagittarius.